Hello everyone, welcome to another video of the weekly chess game recaps. For this week, I'm going to introduce you to a game I played against a person on chess.com, and we have some very surprising openings. When you click on this video, you will see the title is why you shouldn't play f4 in the French defense. Well, you might be wondering why you shouldn't do that. Well, this is a really good example why you shouldn't play f4 in any of the French openings. So let's begin. So basically, this person plays e4. So this person basically plays f4 on the second move, which is already, according to my computer, is already slightly good for black. But it's not, like, I don't really like this move because you will see very soon. So basically, we had an opening where white trades his bishop for my knight, and I get this sort of center pawn structure. So this is one point where this is one reason why I don't like playing f4 as white. So the reason that you want to play d4 in French defense, and without f4, say, like, for example, in this position, for example, in advanced French, say you play the UE system, and I get to play bishop e2. So normally, black's plan will be to bring the knight either from h6 or e7 and go eventually to f5. From there, it will pressure the d4 square, where it is attacked multiple times with the queen, with the pawn, with the knight. Attack the pawn. So that's the goal. But the problem is that if you play this now, you, like, the pawn will just get taken. So so basically the knight cannot go to this square yet, and the other path is go to f4 via h6 square, but this square is covered by the bishop. So if you go there, the bishop will just take it, and you will just damage your own pawn structure. This is not a particularly good pawn structure, even though you open up the file for your rook. The pawn here will be weak with a move like queen d2 after you move the bishop. So it's not really easy to I mean, you can develop the knight to f5, but it's not really a really good option here in this position. But the problem is with f4, after, say, for example, you play normal, for example, you play all the moves that you play in the French advanced variation. Now the difference is that the knight can go to f5 without being taken by the bishop, because the pawn just blocks the bishop view. So now I can just play knight f5, and if you just develop normally, I'll just get this very powerful knight on this square. If you try to kick me out, then I'll just draw back. You're just weakening your own pawn structure. You have to support it with a move like h3. And then I would just combine move like queen b6, and just pressure the pawn from 4 different directions. So that's one reason why f4 is bad. And another reason occurs in the game, where after this person trades off his light square bishop and castle short. So this is another reason why f4 is bad, because now without the pawn, the queen and the king, like after the queen goes to b6, they literally just seize each other. So if I move this pawn further, so if my opponent just does nothing, then this will be a discovered check, and this will just gain a free tempo for me. So my opponent just moves his king over, but this diagonal, you have to pay attention to this diagonal. This diagonal is why it eventually loses the game. So here I actually saw a nice tactic. So my plan was to play h5, then h4, then knight g3, sacrificing, and then the only way the king has to go back, and then I have a discovered check. So I will have to sacrifice my knight, but eventually this plan works. So as you can see, my opponent really does nothing here. A better move might be like just develop normally, but this just gives me two moves, like just two free moves. Here we trade, and then that's the one advantage about double pawns is that I basically I have I traded off one pawn, but I can just bring in another pawn. And then here my opponent takes. So there's actually a mate in like 7 or 8. Try to find it by pausing the video. So if you haven't paused the video, the move sequence is just brilliant. So you bring the knight, right? So I mean, white will either have to move or take the knight. I mean, most people just take the knight, and then this is a discovered check. So that's why my king hasn't castled, because this rook will just stare into the enemy's king on this straight H file. So the king has to move, right? I mean, knight can block, but those are stupid. So the king has to move, and then now bishop check. The king has no moves. Actually, here, those squares are all covered. So the only way to stop is to bring pieces. So for example, if you bring a knight, I take it. You sacrifice the queen, I take it. You bring the bishop, I take it. You bring the rook, I take it. So I mean, you may argue that you don't have to sacrifice the queen. You can just block with the bishop, but there's actually a really nice sequence. You take with check. Oh, it's not there. Rook has to block. You take. King has to move. Only move. And now, queen b5. Isn't that brilliant? So, if the queen blocks, which looks like you've just avoided everything, after you trade, oh, white is okay. I mean, you're down. I mean, not okay, but at least you're not getting mated in, 2 moves. But actually, you're getting mated and in just 1 move. This is just checkmate, because the king is blocked. The only entrance, so only escape square is this square, but the square is blocked by her his own queen. So that will be a brilliant sequence. But actually I didn't play this in the game. I actually just take, and then after my opponent played this seemingly innocent pawn move, I sacked my knight. So because I realized this this square is covered, so I can do that. And I mean, there wasn't much. The king cannot move because this diagonal is covered. So that is why, as shown on move 2, this is already a weakness. So had my opponent not played f4 on move 2, this will not be a problem. If the pawn was on f2, it wouldn't be mate. This will just be a blunder, a mistake, because there isn't the king can just go back. But because this moves, this one pawn moves, open up this diagonal, now this just causes instant mate. So after take, either block will result in checkmate. So either here checkmate or there. So if I go back, I just take with the rook and it's mate. King cannot go there because it's covered. So that's a really nice game by me. So again, that explains why you should never ever play f4 in the French defense. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one. Stay tuned.